In this video, I'll introduce you to the Apex Learning SAT Math program. And so this tutorial program is really designed for all students, but I would say that it is particularly helpful for those who are just starting out in their studying process. We really can start from the very easiest material and work our way up to the harder questions. To get us started, you're going to want to start from the beginning. As you see, the first section is on exponents and proportions, some of the more basic questions on the test. Let's see what happens when we open up one of these sections. Each section starts with a rather intensive pre-test. Now this pre-test can be skipped, but I would suggest that all students take it, because if you do really well on the pre-tests, well then there's no reason to complete all of the content in each section. Again, this one has 38 questions, so I wish the pretests were a little bit shorter, but I guess that they want to be very thorough to make sure that you're not skipping any of the material. For this, I'm going to skip the pretest and get right to the actual material. Now again, this will be different if you take the pretest because you won't have possibly all of the topics recommended to you. Probably just the ones where you score poorly on. Within each topic, we see that there's a place for you to get some further instruction. There's some questions that you can try. There's some review, which may be helpful if you're going back, let's say at the very end of working through all of this content, and you want to make sure that you have got everything down. And of course, there is the test it. Now this test it is sort of the complement to the pretest. You'll notice though it is much shorter, and you can be sure that if you do really well on the test it, that means you've got this and that you don't need to study in this section any further. Let's look at the learning section in a little bit more detail. We see here that we have 3 objectives, which will be covered in these next pages. As we see here, what we have is written instruction, okay, with keywords that are in underline and bold. And we also have a little bit of interaction here. So here it asks me if I have really understood what this paragraph was all about. And I hope I have. Let's give it a try. And it says that I have. Okay. You want to be careful here because it is really, really important that you do understand these sections before moving to the next page. It does not do that automatically for you, so you must click this right button to move forward. Okay, so let's say that I don't understand the law of exponents. What should I do? Well, my suggestion would be to go ahead and copy this, and then open up your favorite search engine. I've chosen Google here. And find yourself a video that has a lot of views so you can go ahead and relearn it from a different source. My suggestion would be for you to use something like Khan Academy, which really here has a good introduction, explanation, and also practice problems for you to learn. I'll go ahead and cover Khan Academy in a future video when I go over additional resources outside of Apex Learning to help you out. Alright, so let's take a look at what you should do once you've finished. Once you've finished the Learn It section, you can go here and you can try. So this will have a combination of questions that are sort of review. So for here we have sort of basic topics here. You will not have direct questions on the SAT that look like this. And so you can solve it, which I'll do right now. Alright, so it looks like I filled everything in. And if I didn't know, well, I could use this hint button here to get a little bit of extra assistance. So once you've solved it, you can hit submit. It'll tell you some feedback at the bottom here, and you can obviously go to the next questions. Again, I have another question here that does not really mimic what I would see on the SAT, but it practices all of the basic concepts that were in this section. After we've tried it, we can hit this Review It button here. Again, this is sort of a quick overview that you can take a look at if you're coming back to this section after already studying all of the rest of the materials. Again, this is sort of a quick overview of everything, and we see here that we have a video for this Review It. Finally, we have the Test It, which should be test-like questions. So you see here, this is more like the format of the actual SAT. A question followed by a 4-answer choice, multiple choice section. Once we've done these 8 questions to success, that is showing us that it is time for us to move forward. Let's take a look at some other sections. So as I was trying to go back to see the other sections, I learned something here. Look what happens. It says that I have an assessment in progress. That means that you have to finish any assessment that you start before moving to any other section. I'm just going to go ahead and guess so we can move forward. I'm not going to show the correct answers. Again, this is not what you want to do to use this, but unfortunately, since I've started the assessment, I have to finish it before I move forward. Alright, don't guess like me. Anyway, you can see that after we finish, we get a results page, where you have multiple attempts to continue before it says that you have 0 attempts remaining. It's important to talk to your teacher to see if this number can be reset. It would make sense for it to be so you could take this as many times as you want since it's review. Alright, so let's recap by just kind of showing from start to finish how to use this technology. You first want to start on the section where you left off. If you're just starting out, that should be the beginning. So let's say we finished section 1 and we're ready for section 2. We'll always start by taking a pre-test. There's no reason to study material that you already are masters of. For this, I'll skip the pretest so we can see the 3 topics that are covered in this section. For each topic, I'm going to first do the Learn It section. Then I will try it. If I still don't feel confident, I can review it. But remember, this is a section, if you're coming back to review, that will be more helpful. And lastly, I will test it. Remember with the Test It, once you start an assessment, you must finish it. So if you're not ready to start an assessment, do not click Start Test. In fact, I see now there's a little message here that says that you cannot move on until you have finished. After you have tested all of the topics, you'll see your percentage score here, here, and here. It's now time to take the post-test. Again, remember that to take the post-test, you must have taken all of the tested sections for each of the topics. And you see here, since I have not, that it is locked and I don't have the option to take it. In closing, the Apex Learning software really does provide a great, thorough review for the ACT and SAT math sections. One thing to be cautious about is that the review does look a little bit different from the real thing. It is important that you use additional softwares that I will show you in a little bit, including Khan Academy, to really get a look at what the actual test will look and feel like. Also, there are some limited help options, so if you don't understand, make sure that you use your favorite search engine, I prefer Google, to look for additional resources like Khan Academy or videos that other math teachers have posted online. One thing to always remember is that with math, practice will help you improve. Your brain is like a muscle, so if you take it to the gym frequently, it will perform for you. Again, people who practice more will improve their scores on these assessments like they would in most academic classes. Happy studying!